Just Tim Root with your KLEK 102.5 FM weather on this Monday. Looks like we'll have partly to mostly sunny skies today with temperatures about 50 to 55, light east winds. Partly to mostly clear overnight, that overnight temperature around 35. Mostly sunny in the mid-60s Tuesday, and Wednesday mostly sunny, temperatures near 70. Chance of showers and thunderstorms Wednesday night into Thursday. Jonesboro, that's your KLEK 102.5 FM weather.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Natalie Powell. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has suffered a major political blow as his party has lost local elections in Ankara. An actor and comedian has become the frontrunner in the Ukrainian presidential election, comfortably winning the first round. And pilots at struggling Indian airline Jet Airways say they'll give the carrier 2 weeks to clear their unpaid salaries.
It's 9:01.
KLEK LP Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. It's now time for Community Conversations, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place, while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.
KLEK 102.5 FM, good morning to you on your Monday. It's April 1st, 2019. This is April Fool's Day, but we're not going to be playing any April Fool's jokes today in the studio, we are here, and we are here to actually have a very serious discussion, but we're going to still keep it kind of lively. This is the first Monday of each month, and on the first Monday of each month, we have a representative of the Craighead County chapter of the NAACP, and joining us today is Miss Robin Kuykendall. She is the Vice President of the Craighead County chapter of the NAACP, and so we're just going to talk about all of the things that are going on today with the organization, including how you can get involved with all of the efforts that are going on today. So, Ms. Kuykendall, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, McGansey, and thank you so much for inviting us into the studio. You have a great studio.
Well, thank you. So, can I just give us a little bit of an introduction about yourself, and then talk about how you actually got involved in the Craighead County chapter of the NAACP?
Okay. Well, I've lived long enough to have done many things. I was a music teacher for many years, a school music teacher, and piano lessons, voice lessons, church choirs, all that. And then I went to law school at the University of Tennessee as a real grown-up. I was 42 when I started and have been practicing law since 1998 in Tennessee and recently added licensure in Missouri, but I don't have an Arkansas license. Nonetheless, I am an advocate for education and special needs students and their parents here in Arkansas. That's something that we can do. Anybody can do it, and I feel very privileged to be able to do that here. So I also spent some time working as an advocate for public school employees and realized that there was this real problem. I saw it as a problem in Arkansas that was really truly based on race. There was no way to escape it. And here in Jonesboro, a few years ago, there was a revival of the local NAACP chapter, and I got involved. I joined. There were a lot of people who looked like me in skin color joined at that time, as well as people of all other colors. And that kind of is the source of the mission of the NAACP. It is in diversity.
And let's kind of talk about that a little bit, because I think some people have a misconception that the NAACP is quote unquote for just one race. But if you even look at the letters, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, well, human beings come in all colors. So when it means colored, it doesn't just mean African American. It can include Hispanic. It can include Asian. It can include all types of diversities. And also, like, if you look at the history of the NAACP, the founders came from a variety of races. It was not just exclusively founded by African Americans, but there were white Americans that were involved in the founding as well.
That's right. The NAACP finally got itself formed in 1909. I think that was in New York. And if you look at the original board, they have photographs available that you can look at, and there are several white, very obviously white faces in that board. The association was formed out of there were many fits and starts to it. Freed slaves and black intellectuals and really people of all colors, but mostly black, had tried to form an association, and they just had too much trouble. They didn't have enough resources. There weren't enough people. They didn't have enough money. They were publishing papers and giving speeches, but it just couldn't get off the ground to have any real ongoing clout to just, they weren't heard. Their voice wasn't heard. And finally, they even had to go to Canada to have their last meeting. It was just a real disaster. So people were interested, though. And I learned this summer, I visited the city of Boston for the first time. And what was so impressive to me about Boston, first of all, was that there is a community that works together, and they have all kinds of public transportation that actually works. I still get text messages from the MTA about where my train might be at this moment and how late I'm going to be. The community works together. And so the black community and the white community came through many struggles in Boston, but they eventually got it together. And that was part of the nucleus of the formation of the NAACP. Very interesting walking tour in Boston if you're interested in African American history. Just a super thing. It was a life-changing kind of experience for me to go there this summer.
And speaking of life-changing, not to cut you off, but I want to bring it back locally just a little bit. So, getting into your personal background, you mentioned being a music teacher and then earning a law degree. And of course, as you know, obviously know the NAACP, one of the tools that they use is the legal profession to fight for the rights of minorities. But on your own personal experiences and the things that you've seen, how does it motivate your own personal passion to combat injustice along with the training that you've received throughout your life?
Well, you know, you do a lot of reading when you study the law. And so you get a little practice, and it helps you understand just how to read what people really mean when they put words on paper. We are governed by laws, hopefully, but if those laws don't work for us, if they work against us, then I feel like I'm in a privileged place, really, to have the tools to help people change what needs to be changed so that the law doesn't oppress people, and that people who have the power to use the law aren't using it as a hammer either. So one of the missions, actually the mission of the NAACP, is to ensure political, that's a legal matter, educational, that's governed by law, social and economic equality of rights of all persons. I'm reading it because I think it's a great mission statement. And to eliminate race-based discrimination. I spent a short time as a music teacher in an all-black middle school. And that cultural immersion was another one of those life-changing experiences where I was not really trusted as a white person in that group. I was certainly in the minority. And we came to the understanding there, my students and I, and the other faculty members, most of whom were African American, that actually we were all here to help each other. And that was one of those lessons that comes between the lines of the law. I think we can do that here too.
Absolutely. And of course, you have a question or a comment for Mrs. Kuykendall. You can give us a call at 870-277-1080. Again, the phone number is 870-277-1080. Or you can leave your questions or your comments on our Facebook Live feed. We do have a couple Facebook shout-outs. Our very own Kubila is on the Facebook Live feed. And also Mrs. Emma Williams Agnew, who is actually the Craighead County president of the local NAACP. She is on our live feed as well. So appreciate both of you ladies for checking in. Now, we was talking a little bit about the laws earlier, and let's kind of talk about some of the legal issues that has been in the news that the local chapters had their eye on. Of course, one of them was the Stand Your Ground law, which Mrs. Agnew talked about last week. And for those that you don't know, since then, the law was defeated in the Senate committee. Our our own Senator Cooper did vote against that, and I know there was a lot of lobbying for him to vote against that. But the NAACP, not just the Craighead County chapter, but other chapters throughout the state did play a part, along with other organizations that went to Little Rock and lobbied, against bills like that. So let's talk about just how important it is to organize for groups to, stand up, as you mentioned, to prevent bills that may be seen as oppressive to the community.
It is hugely important. In fact, that is probably the single most important thing you can do, is to join with like-minded people, get your message sorted out so that everybody is on the same page, and then go speak. When a bunch of individuals speak, it's far more powerful than one individual speaking for the bunch. It's really important for individuals to educate themselves. That's important right there. Know what you're talking about, and then go together. You can use all kinds of media to do this, but if your representatives don't hear from you, they really think that you don't care. And that's usually not the truth, but we're just a little reluctant to speak our mind. But actually, you really are not going to get hurt if you speak your mind. It turns out pretty well when many people come together and speak their mind.
Absolutely. And we have another Facebook shout out. Oh, you're fine. Shout out to our own SD. Appreciate you for checking in on our Facebook live feed and getting into want to get a little bit into the membership portion of the NAACP. In the interest of full disclosure, I myself am a member of the local Craighead County chapter, and the dues, I believe, are $30 for 1 year. And one of the things that they do say in the meetings is that there are encouraging people to become members, even if you cannot attend the meetings. But again, they're looking for that strength in numbers, because when a large group of people do speak, it shows solidarity, it shows strength. And so that's one of the things that they're really pushing for is, to get those members, even if you can't attend each function. And of course, if you would like to become a member, you can contact Mrs. Agnew. I believe they can contact you as well. Would like to become a member. And there's also something that is going on that has been brought to KLEK's attention. We actually shared this on our social media. We have an anonymous donor who is a member. This gentleman actually has pledged to pay the memberships of 5 people who are willing to join but may not have the funds to join. And if you would like to take advantage of this offer, all you have to do is, 1, find 5 people and get them to sign up as members of the NAACP. And of course, we do have forms here at the station, or you can contact any member. And then also to get those same 5 people to register to vote. So if you would like to become a member, there is a member already that is anonymously already contributed the funds. Just sign up 5 people and get those 5 people registered to vote. And then your membership for that year will be covered for the NAACP. So with that, Mrs. Kuykendall, I want to actually transition into voting and elections and how important it is and what role the NAACP plans to take to get people registered to vote and get them educated. And also, will there be plans to invite candidates on to the meetings to have candidate forums so that the issues of the membership can be expressed to those candidates?
Yes, and yes. We are, I would say, locally, our number one issue is voting and voter registration. It is so important to vote. I can't even tell you how important that is. Many people discount it and say, oh, my vote won't matter. Well, it really does matter, because not only are you voting, you're influencing the people you know to vote. You're influencing your family on the importance of voting. Even if you don't say anything, they know you're going to vote. This is really important, and it is a privilege of living in the United States of America. It is also a duty of the citizen to learn about what we're voting on. Don't just believe what somebody tells you about the candidate. And so that's where the NAACP can also come in and help you sort through those. And if we have a candidate come to talk to us, then you can ask your questions, and it's always a good exchange at a meeting like that. I must say, too, I haven't said what I really want to say about the local chapter, our leadership.
We'll go ahead. I mean,
Oh, okay.
I'm
No,
not. I'm
I
not trying to
didn't mean
dominate the conversation. I'm just.
I am. Excuse me. I need to answer the question when it comes. I shouldn't be so talkative, I suppose, but
It's okay. It makes for a much better flowing show when the guest is engaging and talkative. So by all means.
okay. I love to talk. So our leadership is a diverse group. It's hard to find such diversity of decision makers in Jonesboro, and our chapter really has that. We have some sharp, very insightful people on our board. We've got representation from all areas of the community, all kinds of people, business people, educators, public servants, regular retired people, all kinds of clergy. We've got a wonderful board, and this is group
Which
leadership.
you're part of.
Well, me aside, I can see these other. It's an honor for me to serve with these people, because then we're supplying leadership, and that can build into the grassroots, which is where our strength really lies. Every one of us on the board recognizes that. It's not about me, it's not about us, it's about all of us.
And absolutely. And again, she is right. I do attend the meetings, and it is definitely a diverse, not just again in race and in background, but even in age. You know, you have youth, all the way up to, elderly members of the community. We have a question from Kuykendall who says, what plans are the NAACP making to reach out to the younger population and bring them into the conversation on a variety of matters, not just on voting? And that's actually a good question, because, the younger generation definitely has issues that they are very passionate about, such as, dealing with student loan debt, negative interactions with police. So they have their own issues that they care about. So what is the local chapter going to do to try to reach out to the NAACP and make sure that their concerns are heard?
Yes. We all know young people, but we don't interact at institutional levels very well. So our plans are to find out what young people really have as their big issues, and then what we want to do is build leadership into their age group, so that I'm not very good at expressing this, but we have an interest in building at the college level, at the high school level, and engaging those people. But if they don't talk to us, we're not going to know. So we want to build up listening opportunities, and these KLEK has been really good to have community events where we can hear what young people are saying and doing.
And just to add to that conversation, I think also that it's imperative that the NAACP actually, goes out to where they are. I know in the past there has been a collegiate chapter at Arkansas State. I'm not sure what the status of that chapter currently is. And Dr. Sharice Jones Branch was on our live feed, which says there's always been a youth council with Dr. Branch, always a wealth of information. Appreciate that.
Yes.
But definitely need to get that back engaged, or if it's already out there, to build on it and to make it stronger. Kuykendall says, I talk with individuals. Oh, Dr. Branch says we need one in Jonesboro. So there you go. There's your charge.
Yes. Well, we're looking for a faculty sponsor right now.
Dr. Branch? She said looking for a faculty sponsor.
Send us the people. Yes.
Kuykendall says, I talk with individuals who are over 18 but under 30 who have mixed views on the State of the Union. They have lost faith in leaders. They are trying to navigate society on their own, but with limited education and insight. And I could say a mouthful on this here, but I'm gonna just only add this to Kuykendall. Of course, obviously we're neutral here when it comes to politics at the station, but I think there definitely is a disconnect between politicians of both parties, or of all parties, and the community. I think these people say, I'm going to do this and this and this for the people, whether it's liberal or conservative, and then, when they get, to the State House or Washington, then, we're forgotten. The biggest thing is, it seems like they don't want to solve problems. It's not like, okay, we agree that we got to solve this problem. I think my way is better. Well, no, I think my way is better. Okay, well, How can we talk about those ways and try to find the best ways? And like, no, I'm going to take you down a peg. No, I'm going to take you down a peg, and forget the people who sent us into office. So, your thoughts on that?
Well, we've already touched on this. We've come through a period in this nation where people avoided voting. They avoided educating themselves on the issues. They've been willing to let someone else tell them what the issue is without raising their own issues and saying to their own representatives, here's our issue, help us with this. And then that allows our representatives to kind of degrade into not being leaders at all. They don't see the need to look forward, to be proactive on a problem. They're just reactive to fewer and fewer people. So we can turn that around, and this is a real message for young people. You can take hold of this right now.
I think you're starting to see some of that, especially like when you look at the national level, when you look at some of the youth that have been elected to Congress and how they, no matter if you agree or disagree with their views, you know, they are firm in their convictions and standing up for the things that they believe in and that for the things that they want to do. So I definitely agree that we need more leadership. And I'll just also say this, we need leaders, and we also need a populace that actually has compassion for their fellow man and not, you know, be so afraid of people who are different from each other, no matter what those differences may be. And of course, that's just my little 2 cents. Shout out to Paul Holmes. Paul, appreciate you for checking in on our live feed. We're going to get ready to go to a break. Don't go anywhere. We will be back with Mrs. Robin Kuykendall, Vice President of the Craighead County Chapter of the NAACP. You tune to Community Conversations, and this is Kate, LEK, 102.5 FM.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
Dads, is your daughter confident? I'm Mark Merrill with today's Family Minute. Our daughters are under attack. Everywhere they turn, culture is telling them that they aren't good enough. As fathers, we have an obligation to instill confidence along with humility into our daughters. So, here are some tips for raising daughters to be confident. First, truly listen to her. Listen more, lecture less. She needs to know she has your ear, that you really understand her, and that you are there for her. Second, tell her she's beautiful. Some reports suggest that only 2% of women think they're beautiful. Changing this mindset begins in your own home. Make sure your daughter knows she's beautiful inside and out. Remember, your family first.
Family Minute is made possible by the Kappa Nu Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a non-profit organization committed to service to all mankind. Kappa Nu Omega Alpha Kappa Alpha on Facebook and KNOMEGA1908.com.
Family Minute is brought to you by the Gears Foundation, a nonprofit organization providing students with assistance in their academic and career pursuits. Gears Foundation on Facebook, Gears_Inc. on Instagram, and the Gears Foundation at gmail.com.
Hello everyone, this is Brother Carls at KLEK 102.5 FM. We're having our fund drive. We are seeking 100 donors to give at least $20 per month. But we are happy with any gift, large or small. Come by our studio at 1411 Franklin Street in Jonesboro. Call us at 870-277-1080, or you can visit our website at klekfm.org. Or you can use the Cash App, $KLEKFM, or text KLEK1 and send it to 44321. This is Brother Carl's Victory Praise Gospel, all Gospel Wednesday. So please, all my listeners, let's donate.
KLEK thanks CJ Pepper and the staff of Life Strategies Counseling Incorporated for helping people through hard times in life such as depression, family issues, stress, abuse, and more. They offer counseling and therapy for all ages, individuals, families, and groups. They are located at 1217 Stone Street. Phone number 1-866-972-1268 or online at lscihelp.com.
Centennial Bank, member FDIC, is a customer-focused bank that provides a broad range of commercial and retail banking and related financial services to businesses, investors, individuals, and municipalities. Centennial Bank has 9 locations in Northeast Arkansas. 870-268-2300. www.my100bank.com.
Check out Melvin Williams of the Williams Brothers every Sunday morning from 5 to 7 a.m. here on KLEK for the Melvin Williams Down Home Gospel Radio Show, playing the very best in quartet and inspirational gospel music that you'll love, as well as feature interviews with all of your favorite gospel artists. It's Melvin Williams Down Home Gospel Radio Show, Sundays from 5 to 7 a.m. on KLEK 102.5 FM.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
And we're back on Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM with our guest, Mrs. Robin Kuykendall, the Vice President of the Craighead County chapter of the NAACP. And of course, if you have a question or a comment for Mrs. Kuykendall, you can give us a call at 870-277-1080, or you can leave your questions or your comments on our Facebook Live feed. And one of the things that I wanted to kind of touch back on is some of the committees of the NAACP, especially the Legal Redress Committee, which I'm sure that you can definitely talk about as you do have a legal background. So kind of just explain a little bit about the Legal Redress Committee, what it does, and any things that the committee is focused on at this moment.
Oh, okay. That's a great topic because a lot of people are interested in, everybody runs into injustice somewhere in their life. And how do we overcome this? Well, the NAACP is interested in justice for all people. So we have a legal redress committee, we call it, and people can bring their concerns to the committee, and we will consider those. We'll take their history, their story about what really happened here, and decide if this is in the interest of the bigger group, the larger group, to pursue some kind of redress, a remedy, or some kind of change that will help not only this person, the individual, but all people. And so oftentimes people will bring their individual problem. They've got a problem at work, or they had a problem with maybe somebody, their neighbor or whoever, but that's kind of outside of our scope. We don't do legal representation so much as we take in problems and see if it's a larger problem that could benefit the whole community if we can solve it. And there are resources at the state and national level if we get into one of those big kind of, it's almost like a class problem. Okay, and let's give an example of a situation where legal redress could come into existence. And the reason why I asked that is because we actually get calls here at the radio station from concerned citizens who ask for the contact information for the NAACP, and some of these have involved matters of in law enforcement. I feel like I was improperly arrested, or I feel like I was harassed, or I feel like my rights were violated. So kind of give an example of where the actions of the NAACP Legal Redress Committee would be warranted, and if so, what would the process entail of filing a complaint? Okay. Well, a classic case is school desegregation. That involved millions of children, and that was a prime example of the NAACP funding and supporting litigation. If we have, let's say we have people who are observing that people of color, of any particular race, would be singled out by law enforcement for arrest or for stops, then we need to see the pattern. You may be one of many. Can you show us that you are one of many? And if you think you have that information, we are really interested in it. So you would contact me or anyone really in the NAACP. And let's go ahead and give out the contact information. Okay. It's really on a personal basis right now for individuals, but we do have a Facebook page that's brand new.
And you can just look up
Agnew.
Craighead
Yeah,
County.
that's right.
In fact, I don't want to tell people, so let me go on to Facebook right now and get that for you so that we can provide the proper information.
Is it something you can post on the website?
I'm going to link as soon as there we go. So it is Craighead County NAACP. Again, it is Craighead County NAACP. So for those of you that are watching on our Facebook live feed, I'm actually about to post that address on there. And of course, members of the organization do have access to that page. And if you inbox it, then you would quickly get a reply. So again, getting back to the question as far as examples. I know you mentioned about the school case. And speaking of school case,
I mean, that's one that's pretty well known.
And speaking of school cases, has there been anything locally that has been brought to the organization's attention, or there's any issues that could potentially be on the NAACP's radar?
Yes, there are. And these issues they're latent in a way. They're kind of waiting for someone to actually voice and raise. But we're noticing that the faculties of our county school districts are not in the same proportion racially as the student bodies. And so then we start to wonder, why is that? And I think until people raise the issue and help us raise that issue, we have to be very careful. But we are noticing that. We're looking for people who want to make it an issue. We can take that to the school board. We can start wondering in our own communities, why is this? Why would it be that if an African American teacher is hired, he or she might not stay in the district very long? There are social questions here that are, I think, maybe why people aren't speaking them out loud. They're very painful. But we could maybe make some progress if we want to start talking about it. And of course, there's plenty of law to bring to bear on a school district who is violating discrimination law.
And that's one thing that we want to talk about. So sometimes when there's an issue that people may be concerned about, there may be fear of retaliation, and I think that's why organizations like the NAACP are needed. I'm going to actually give an example, even though it's this was in the Hispanic community. Right after the conclusion of the 2016 presidential election, there was a neighborhood in which there was some Hispanics living, and someone actually painted some inflammatory materials on a board in his yard that related to the issue of the border wall. And there were Hispanics that actually reached out to us that were concerned about it, what could be done. They were very fearful. So again, I think it speaks to the importance of having an organization that can speak for those who are afraid to speak out individually on their own.
Yes. If we do make the speech, though, we have to know that it is the speech of many. So if people stay silent, that's when bullies really flourish. We have to say, that's not the way we really want to live here in Jonesboro. It might be comfortable for some, but it's not comfortable for everyone. And we want a better community.
And that's absolutely...
It's a choice.
It is absolutely important. Kind of switching gears a little bit, another project that the Craighead County chapter of the NAACP is working on, I believe Mrs. Agnew may have spoken a little bit about it on her interview last month, is the local chapter is currently taking signatures for a petition to rename a street in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I know a committee has been formed to study the issue, and don't want to go too deep in details because not everything has been finalized as far as the plans, but definitely just want to put that out there. And if you are interested in signing the petition to let the city officials know that this is something that you want to see in Jonesboro, then definitely please contact a member of the NAACP. And also, Mrs. Agnew did leave the number in which she can be reached. I actually posted in the Facebook comments. It's 870-931-8248. Again, that's 870-931-8248. And Quabila wants to know, speaking of education, the Secretary of Education has made several statements concerning her budget plans and many other topics. Does the NAACP follow those issues, and if so, how do you approach them?
Yes, the national organization follows them very closely. And in fact, on the national website, you can find a letter that they have produced addressing exactly those issues. Of course, the NAACP is opposed to making education funding discriminatory toward any group, particularly, of course, people of color. But what we're noticing, not only at the local level, but also at the state level, the Arkansas Advocates for Children and Families has recently produced a real nice study on this. And at the national level, we're seeing all kinds of statistical proof, really solid proof, that African American children, black children, are over-identified for discipline and under-identified for meaningful special needs services. That's going on everywhere, and that's an issue on our radar too.
And something else, I'm not sure if this is on the local chapter's radar, but I know this is something that people need to keep an eye on. Is I believe there's something that's currently going through the legislature that would allow for some funding, some public funding that could be used for vouchers for private schools. And the issue that could potentially be raised there is if that funding is diverted away from public schools, then that makes it harder for those schools to do the job of educating the children.
Absolutely. This is an issue that I've been watching and studying in depth since 1994. Literally, since 1994. It's been happening since before that. But there is a movement that doesn't seem to go away because it involves a lot of money. It's well-funded. Financial interests love to get their hands on tax money, and the education pot is very large. It's not quite as big as the military pot, but you can imagine what goes on there with contracting. And when local school districts lose control of their local tax money, bad things happen. Schools get underfunded, public schools get underfunded. Those who can afford to pay a little more form a private school, a charter school. It takes tax money away from all children. And what charter school organizers, there have been some successes, but overall, charter schools, private schools do not perform better than regular public schools. They might be about the same. Some of them are even worse, especially where a profit motive is involved. But we have this coming. The name gets changed. Private vouchers, private savings accounts, charter schools. It all goes. In fact, if you're putting into a savings account, the state is going to pay a private financial manager to manage your money, so you know it's not going to go to the school, that part of it anyway. And another thing that charter schools often don't like to be made known, but you can find it if you look, they take the state money for a child, at least in this state, and then there are private funders that throw in almost as much money again for the same student. So those charter school students are being subsidized by the public and by private interests. So it's not apples and oranges. So be really careful. And the NAACP has, in the last couple of years, made very strong statements against more charter schools and against more vouchers because they just don't serve the people very well.
Once again, we are speaking with Mrs. Robin Kuykendall, Vice President of the Craighead County chapter of the NAACP. And if you have a question or a comment, you can give us a call at 870-277-1080, or you can leave your questions or your comments on our Facebook Live feed. And also, once again, if you have an interest in becoming a member of the local Craighead County chapter, the dues are just $30 per year, and you can inbox the Craighead County NAACP page at Craighead NAACP on Facebook, or you can call the president, Mrs. Emma Agnew, at 870-931-8248. Again, that phone number is 870-931-8248. And again, one of the things that they are encouraging is they want people to join, even if you cannot attend each meeting. Your number, there's strength in numbers. And one reason why there's strength in numbers is 2020 is an election year. It's coming up, and of course we at KLEK, we will have interviews with as many of the candidates as we can possibly get to come on the air. But by having this unified voice, then the concerns of the community, it will be another opportunity to be heard. And also, one thing that I do want to stress as far as about the membership, even though you can do your membership online, don't do that option, because that doesn't actually go toward the local chapter for credit. I mean, you'll still be a member and you'll still have the rights and privileges, but it won't, if you do it online, it won't count towards the chapter numbers.
Can I say something about that?
Yes.
Yeah. If you join at the national website, it might not turn into a membership. They may confuse you with a donor, a supporter. So the best thing to do is join at the local level. Your membership will be processed faster and more accurately. I'm sure they get millions of inquiries there at the national level. So just come to our Facebook page and navigate there. And
they will be happy to get you a membership form.
Absolutely.
It's really easy. It's really easy to fill out, and you can get there and you can easily become a member. I'm actually looking on the national website. I'm just looking at some of the issues that are focused on. We've touched on education. Let's talk a little bit about economic opportunity, because that is something that is definitely important, because the economy affects us all. Oh, I can move it over to this screen. So let's talk about anything on the local level that the chapter could be doing, focus on the economy, or any concerns that has been brought to the chapter concerning the economy.
Well, people don't talk about the economy too much. I think many of our citizens here in Craighead County are working so hard. They're happy to be employed, but there's a big picture here. I know there's an opportunity zone is opening, and I don't even know how much money is available there, and it hasn't been publicized. So these are the things, well, it's been publicized a little. I mean, I know about it, but there are opportunities that in the economy where we need to open up into, how do I say this, opportunity for more people to open a business, for example.
Well, I'll say I think the barriers into entry for small businesses needs to be easier. And I'll just use the example of KLEK. We were able to get a business loan to finish construction of the station, and banks, and we were told this, they said banks usually do not loan to startups, but one, God was with us, but two, in order to get the loan to finish construction on the station, I had to have 2 co-signers. I had to pledge every bit of equipment that we had bought up to that point as collateral, and we still got hit with a pretty decent interest rate on top of it. I mean, so just the barrier to entry for small business is very, very difficult, to get access, to that capital.
Yes, and the regulatory environment is not friendly either. I'm not sure. I haven't found it yet. I have a small business, and I hope somebody will tell me where it is. Someone to help know, what do I owe the city? What do I owe the state? Is there a way to combine these things? I had
that might be a good forum for the NAACP to put on that could help assist people start small business. I know one forum that the NAACP put together that was very successful was the series with the Jonesboro Police Department. Chief Elliott came for about 3 Wednesdays in a row. He brought the officers with him. They demonstrated traffic stops, what to say, what not to say when encountered by a police officer, and they took questions from the audience, and those people in the audience were able to express their concerns as well. And I think think that was something that was very good, and I think that more programs like that can definitely be of benefit to the community to get the issues out that are most important to them. And once again, we are speaking with Mrs. Robin Kuykendall of the Craighead County chapter of the NAACP. And if you have a question or a comment, you can give us a call at 870-277-1080. Again, the phone number is 870-277-1080. Or you can leave your questions or your comments on our Facebook live feed, and we'll be happy to pass them along. Let's see, we got any additional Facebook shout outs? I believe we have a couple, as my phone is freezing up, but as it was happens in live radio, but it is all good. So we're going to get ready to go into a break, but when we come back, we will wrap up our segment with Mrs. Robin Kuykendall, who is the Vice President of the Craighead County chapter of the NAACP. You're tuned to Community Conversations, and this is KLEK 102.5 FM.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
We're back with Money Matters. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. Regular Money Matters listeners know that you can't manage money effectively without a monthly spending plan, also known as a budget. But what would you do if your income were suddenly reduced by 10%? Job loss, furloughs, salary cuts, or disability can happen to any of us at any time, resulting in temporarily or permanently reduced incomes. You can't always prevent these circumstances, but you can and should plan for them. That's why now is a good time to build a hardship budget, or a couple of them. Just take your current household budget and decide what expenses you'd cut and how extra income could be generated if your current income was cut by 30%. You may never need them, but if you do, you'll be better prepared in the face of a financial crisis. Having a hardship budget can give you the kind of peace of mind that money can't buy. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. for Money Matters, a product of American Urban Radio Networks.
Money Matters is made possible by the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization focused on joy in our sisterhood, power in our voice, and service in our hearts. www.jonesboroalumnidst.org.
Money Matters is brought to you by Bancorp South, offering checking, savings, loans, credit cards, and wealth management. 5 locations in Jonesboro to serve you. www.bancorpsouth.com or 870-972-9800.
Money Matters is brought to you by the Gears Foundation, a nonprofit organization providing students with assistance in their academic and career pursuits. Gears Foundation on Facebook, Gears_Inc. on Instagram, and the Gears Foundation at gmail.com.
Starks Auto Plaza at 2829 Red Wolf Boulevard is a proud KLEK supporter, offering luxury pre-owned vehicles sold wholesale to the public. At Starks, we never say no. 870-203-9980. Details at starksautoplaza.com.
The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated was established on January 1st, 1977, originally serving Blytheville, Arkansas, and now serving Jonesboro, Blytheville, Osceola, Marion, and West Memphis, Arkansas. Today, the chapter continues to make an impact by focusing on Alpha's national community outreach initiatives such as My Brother's Keeper, A Voteless People is a Hopeless People, Go to High School, Go to College, Project Alpha, Boy Scouts, and the March of Dimes. The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is committed to Alpha's mission of developing leaders, promoting brotherhood and academic excellence, while providing service and advocacy to the community. More information about the Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is available at MOL Alphas on Facebook or via email at molalphas@gmail.com.
We at KLEK would like to extend a sincere thank you to all of our underwriters and sponsors. If you would like to sponsor or underwrite our programming and help us to educate, entertain, and empower the community, our number is 870-203-9951. Our email address is KLEK1025FM at gmail.com. The website address is klekfm.org. Again, thank you for listening.
Experience the Joy with Bishop Adrian R. Rogers, pastor of Fullness of Joy Church, 2120 Thorn Street, Jonesboro, Arkansas, 72401. Wednesday night, Word and Worship, 7 p.m. Prayer Thursday night at 7 p.m. Sunday School, 9:30 a.m. Sunday morning worship, 11 o'clock a.m. And our Sunday night live service at 7 p.m.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
And we're back on Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM with our guest, Mrs. Robin Kuykendall. Oh, excuse me, lose my voice there. Of the Craighead County chapter of the NAACP. And of course, if you have a question or a comment, you can give us a call at 870-277-1080. Or you can leave your questions or comments on our live feed. Kabila actually had a question. Actually skipped over it. Let me go back to it. She says, has there ever been a case brought to the NAACP that has inspired new or changes to existing legislation?
At the local level, I would say yes. In the 1950s, of course, there was the school desegregation problem that impacted this state very clearly, and federal law was not the same as state law. And so we've had some changes in state law since that time, educationally. I think that NAACP advocacy on criminal justice issues, they're really having an impact right now. We're considering the felony, Future for Felons is our local lobbying organization to restore the voting rights of felons. I'm sure there are many, many examples, and I'm just really not aware of all of them.
But definitely some to stay tuned on. And of course,
I should say, if it weren't for this kind of advocacy, things would be a lot worse.
Definitely. And one thing that I do want to once again stress is, if there is something that is of concern to you, please contact the chapter. Again, you can find them on Facebook, Craighead County NAACP. You can inbox the page, you can call the page, and someone will gladly speak to you about your issues and your concerns. And also attend a meeting. Now, I did not mention this. The meetings are every third Monday of the month, 6 o'clock p.m. at the E. Boone Watson Center. Once again, those meetings are every third Monday, 6 o'clock p.m. at the E. Boone Watson Center. And once again, I do have to put this out there. An anonymous member of the NAACP meeting is offering to sponsor 5 memberships. All you have to do is just sign up 5 people to join NAACP. The membership fees are $30 per year. Also, register those 5 people to vote, and then your membership will be covered. And I believe there's also some other members that are sponsoring as well. So if you want to become a member, but the $30 fee may be a bit of a financial hardship for you, there are opportunities available for you to get involved. So why don't you, once again, in your own words, talk about the importance of getting involved with the local NAACP, no matter who you are.
No matter who you are. If you want to see people treated well, we have church memberships and we have civic memberships, and the NAACP fits in with all of those. If you want to see people treated like human beings, if you yourself want to be kind to your neighbors, this is an organization for you.
Absolutely. And of course, in the interest of full disclosure, I am a member myself. Of course, we do still keep things neutral here at KLEK, but again, this is an organization, that is about advocacy. And even if this is not the organization for you, we encourage you to get involved in organizations that have the same values in which you share. Like I always say, be the change in which you seek, and that can definitely make you a better place, better person, and a better involved citizen. And Quabila said she had another question, but I'm not seeing it on our live feed.
I really appreciate these questions.
Well, no problem. Well, Mrs. Agnew said, how would we address people who have individual personal complaints?
Well, what we like to do, we like to hear about complaints because it helps us know what's going on in the community, and then we can see, do we really have a trend here? Do we have a pattern? But bring them to us. We will do the best we can to set you on the right path. Maybe you don't know just where to go. So many people say, well, I didn't know who to talk to. And among our Legal Redress Committee members, we do know where we can send you or help you and get you down the road before it's too late. If you wait too long, every problem resolves itself and almost never in your favor.
And of course, another thing as we get ready to go into the 2020 election season, I can't stress enough how important it is to register to vote. And of course, the Craighead County NAACP will definitely be doing a lot of voter registration, but to actually get out and vote, because elections have consequences. And if you don't like the consequences of those elections, then you can't really blame anybody but yourself if you didn't participate.
Just correct your mistake.
Because again, somebody's gonna win. So why not let it be the person that you at least had a small part in saying so? You know, when you stay home, basically you're advocating. I don't know why I can't talk today. It's all good though. You're basically giving up that choice to someone else. So don't do that. All right, Mrs. Kuykendall, any final comments? Anything that you may want to say that we did not touch upon in these last 2 minutes?
I really like what you said, Leganzi, about be the change that you want to see. Things will change. Everything changes. But unless you are involved, it probably won't change in your direction. So invite your friends to join you. Join our NAACP. It is a vibrant, growing organization. We intend to have one of the most effective chapters in the state of Arkansas, if not the whole southeast region, right here in Jonesboro.
Right.
We have the opportunity.
All right, Quabila, finally found Quabila's question. Would the local chapter consider doing a weekly topic highlight video and or post on the Facebook page to get the community more engaged? Example, have elected officials conduct 1 or 2 minute segment on a topic. This will help the community get to know you more and hopefully increase interest in membership.
Ooh, I love that idea, and I'm going to bring it to the executive committee tonight. Thank you.
Well, definitely. And don't forget, Craighead County chapter of the NAACP meets every third Wednesday. E. Boone Watson Center, 6 o'clock p.m. Every third Monday, E. Boone Watson Center, 6 o'clock p.m. Once again, like I said, be the change in which you seek. Register to vote, get out and vote. And of course, they would love to have you as a member, just $30 per year. If you can't afford that, then there are ways you can get your membership sponsored. One is by simply getting 5 people signed up and then getting those people registered to vote. We have an individual that is willing to anonymously sponsor your membership. Any shout outs, Robin?
Thank you so much. KLEK is a wonderful addition and a force in this community. I shout out to the whole executive board of the NAACP local chapter and to all of our members. Thank you for everything you do.
All right, and thank each and every one of you. You guys have a great and blessed day. This is Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
Thank you for listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.
Broadcasting from the First National Bank Tower, this is KLEK LP Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy.